and welcome back to In My Hometown. This is our first episode of 2026, and it's going to be a good one. We are going to talk about, we thought it would be a perfect time to talk about resolutions and reset and goals for the new year. And we have got a great guest today. Her name is Sarah Schmidt. She is a psychologist, a mindset coach, a host of her own podcast called Holy Schmidt. And we're just going to have a great conversation today. I'm just so excited that you're here. Hi, how are you?
Thank you. I'm great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. It's nice to be here.
How are you?
Yeah, this is so super. So I read that more than 45% of Americans make resolutions every year. But most of them, by February, have abandoned the resolutions. And so I thought that would be a good place for us to start, as you know, as you are a psychologist and someone who really understands people and their mindset and what they're thinking. Why do you think it is so hard for people to make these changes? What is the sort of pressure? Is there too much pressure we're putting on ourselves about that? And you know, even though people want to change, what's your take on that?
I think two things. And this morning I was in the gym.
And Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Every day can be a new year.
Yeah.
Right? Let's just remember that. Okay. January 1st is an arbitrary day set by, you know, people who decided that was our calendar. So if today can be your new year if you want it to be. Right? I asked my coach this morning in the gym this question, and I knew I'd get a good one because, you know, he's a good coach. And he said to me, resolutions are for the weak-minded. And I have to kind of agree with him, because really the desire to change is an ego exercise. But our ego doesn't want to change. Our ego craves consistency. So it will thwart any effort you make to try to change, you know, to keep everything the same. It's homeostasis. It's gravity. It's, you know, that which an object which stays at rest will remain at rest unless acted upon by an outside force. Well, what is that outside force, right?
Right.
And I mean, there's a big difference between discipline and motivation. And I think most people seek motivation, right? What they see, how they compare themselves. But discipline is the thing that gets us to the place we want to go.
I will have to agree with you. I think to me, when I wake up in the morning, every day is a new year, is a new day.
You do. You have that
I believe
view.
then you live the day as is you last. And again, like you mentioned sometime, you know, everybody wants to make a New Year resolution. Oh, this is the first of the year. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to watch my diet. But if you don't have that in you during the year, you're never going to be able to sustain that how you call commitment. It's in you working out like, you know, you do, I do, you know, it's a lifestyle. And every day, if you don't go to the gym, you don't feel good about yourself.
Right.
But the people think that that's a New Year's. I'm going to make a resolution. I'm going to go to the gym. And then after 2-3 weeks, they realize that's not them.
But isn't it a good opportunity for it? I guess that's so. While every day should be, I think, you know, the new year gives people this feeling, this opportunity that I can reset or recalibrate myself. So what could we be doing to make some of those changes stick?
Well, I think Pascal speaks directly to it.
Yes.
And he has his why, right? To make every day the best day it can possibly be. To feel as good as possible he can every day.
That's your choice.
And
that's your choice.
It's a choice,
It's
but
a
it
choice.
is probably, it is a why. It is a why I'm going to do this. And so there isn't, if that's who you are, pardon me, if that's who you are, then you don't have to make a choice whether you're going to go exercise or whether you're going to eat something that feels good in your body or whether you're going to get good sleep, because it is your way of making every day the best day. I mean, I go to the gym every day because it is a mental reset for me. Every day I try to do something very hard so that I can do all the hard things that life is going to present me during the course of the day and the week. It isn't about trying to look a certain way. It is how I want to feel. It is how I want to be in my body. Yeah,
It's mental.
mental.
I think to me,
Okay.
you know, you used to work out every day. If you don't work out today, you'll feel guilty not go to the gym. Am I right?
No, I won't feel guilty. I will feel sluggish.
Yeah.
I
I'll
will
feel guilty, yeah.
I will feel sluggish, and I will feel my energy will be lower. And my focus will be off, right? So that mental exercise for me is that that mental kind of reset. It is the thing that primes me for the day. I don't feel guilt.
To me, if
I don't need guilt as
I'm
a
in bed
motivator.
in the morning and that's my gym days, and I say, oh, I don't know if I want to go. I don't know if I want to go. And finally, I force myself to go because I feel guilty than if I don't go. That's my way of being able to drag myself to the gym. And when I'm there, that's it. I'm fine. As soon as I wake up and I put my working out clothes, I'm ready. And after my workout, I feel, wow, I feel much better. I've accomplished more at 10 o'clock in the morning than most people do during the whole day. And that's why I feel good.
Well, and yeah, I mean, you're special. You're special.
I know I'm special.
But I do think for most of us, this idea of sort of wanting to make some of these changes for the new year and sort of wanting to I feel good about things, setting goals, setting some intentions. And then would you say that you should try to maybe check in with yourself on these things, or just not have too many changes you want to make? Like, what's the biggest mistake that people make, other than what you've said, which is find out the real reason that you want to do things? But if we want to like eat healthier, want to work out more, is that better than saying I want to lose 10 pounds or
I think one way to set yourself up for success is to visualize how you want to feel as that change starts to take place, and really try to embody the feeling that you're going for. Strictly going for the visual, like I want to look, I want to get ripped, I want the six pack. That's a tough motivator because it takes a long time to get to that place. But the feeling, I want to feel more alive. I want to feel more energy. I want to feel more at ease in my body. I want to feel less inflammation. Really getting into the somatic experience of what you want for yourself changes it, because now it's not just a mental exercise. You're not just fighting with the ego. You actually have a feeling that you're trying to embody, right? And you can get to that feeling quite quickly, honestly, in the gym. I can feel strong without actually being very strong, because the minute I pick up a 15-pound set of dumbbells and start trying to do some curls, I achieve one rep, I might start to feel strong. I get a taste of it, right?
Yeah.
Versus I want a ripped bicep. Well, that's going to take a long time.
Yeah, I agree. I had
But
that
let me ask you a question. I listened to one of your podcasts, and in your early years, I believe then you were 240 pounds?
228 at my
228
peak.
pounds at your peak, okay? At this time, you didn't work out, am I right? And you were diagnosed with cancer, I believe, and you fought through it. So when did you decide to say, I want to take care of my body, I want to lose my weight, I want to start taking care of me and find a why? What was the click for you to change that? Because usually when you start a workout regimen, or when you start working out at a very young age, the 14, the 13, the 16, even in high school. You seem like you started after you were diagnosed with cancer, I believe?
Well, no, I mean, I was quite fit and very active all through high school and college. But when I got diagnosed with cancer, I went through a really dark period of quite a heavy dose of depression. I really thought I was going to die. And there were some circumstances around my cancer which were highly unusual that made it much more difficult to deal with. But I stopped exercising because I felt so sick. And then I used food as a way to soothe and really distract myself from all the difficult feelings I had, the fear that I really was going to die. And it was around the time that I was maybe 37, 38. I was realizing I probably wasn't going to die. For a long time, I didn't have a sense of myself beyond like 40 years old. I just couldn't imagine it. I just couldn't see it. And I lived like that. And then all of a sudden I started to realize I was going to live. And I realized I didn't want to live the way I was living. I didn't want my kids to see me this way. I was obese. I was approaching like sort of a type 2 diabetes diagnosis. My cholesterol was like ridiculously high, all the things, right? And I was also going to get married. So my wife and I were planning a wedding. Civil unions were passed in Illinois, and the federal marriage amendment was passed, and we decided to have a wedding. And I didn't want a photographer at our wedding. And I realized how sad that was. My kids were so excited about a wedding, their moms were getting married, and I didn't want to photograph it because I didn't want to see what I looked like. And
It
that
must have been so hard.
that was really hard. And that shift, that changed everything. And one April day, literally, I went to a Weight Watchers meeting. Now, and that week I lost 9 pounds just by tracking what I was putting in my body. I started to feel better, and I started to want to move again. And I rediscovered exercise. And not as a way to get fit, but as a way to feel good in my physical self. And the more I could do, the better I felt. And the better I felt, the better I wanted to eat. And the better I wanted to eat, the more activity I could have in my life. And the more fun I was having with my kids and my friends. And the sexier I felt. And the more my life started to feel vibrant. My why became wanting to live a full life. If I was going to be alive, I was going to live a full life. And I was going to do it in the most, healthy way I possibly could, modeling that for my kids. But yeah, it was really definitely a journey. I lost 85 pounds by exercise and diet 15 years ago.
Yeah. That's an incredible
There were no
story.
GLP-1s at the time.
So
Right.
you see, to your point, it doesn't have to be New Year's to have a resolution.
No, it doesn't.
Every day is New Year's.
Every day. Mine was April 9th.
Okay. That makes it
just
point.
Do you
happened to be-
celebrate that every
No,
year?
I don't, but it's funny that I remember the
Yeah,
day,
it
isn't
is
it?
funny. Yeah.
I have a strong memory for dates and things, but yeah.
Is that what led you to become a psychologist and a mindset coach? or
I
were
was
you
already a psychologist by then.
okay,
Yeah, I had
okay.
finished my PhD quite a long
it.
time before that, and I was working as a business consultant.
Okay.
I
You
wasn't.
graduate from Northwestern University, I believe. Huh?
I did my undergraduate at Northwestern, and then I did a master's at Loyola University, and then I did my PhD at the Chicago School for
So
Professional
we have a beauty and brain in our cow.
Right. I know.
Beauty and brain.
Funny.
So, what was it? The mindset change? Like, when did you realize that it was really about this change of your mindset that was going to help to make these changes?
I think it's really in the last couple years that I've really discovered the power of the mind. And it wasn't then, in my late 30s. It has been actually since turning 50 that I really have started to see the power of what I think and how I speak, how that creates the life I'm living. It really is incredibly powerful when we start to understand and observe our mind at work. We have so much control over how we think, how we talk to ourselves, and the words we use to speak the future that we want.
Yeah, I love that. And the idea that you're listening to yourself, like talk to yourself, right?
You probably talk to yourself
Yes.
all day long,
Right.
and yet very few of us realize what we're actually saying. Very few of us hear the critical, demeaning voice that often we use to speak to ourselves.
When you speak to yourself, do you speak yourself in a positive way about reinforcing your happiness? Think positive versus negative. When you look at yourself, do you look at yourself negatively or positively?
Very positively.
Okay, and that's the key thing.
Yeah,
Because
very
some people have
positively.
tendency to look at themselves, I don't think I could do that. I don't know if it's for me, or I'm afraid to do it. I think that's the difference between said, I know I could do it, I know I will do it, I want to do it. And I think that's a positive mind. So you're looking at yourself always in a positive.
I mean, I try. I'm not always successful at it because I'm human.
Yeah.
But more days rather than less, I can really reframe almost anything in a positive. And I have a lot of hard things in my life, if you've listened to the podcast. I mean,
Yeah.
but one of the things I tell myself constantly, whenever I'm facing hard things, I say to myself, what a pleasure. What a pleasure to be able to handle this tough thing today.
Wow.
What a pleasure that life has given me this obstacle to deal with today. What a pleasure it is to be alive and be able to fight this battle. What a pleasure it is to be able to manage this crisis, handle this chaos.
I wish I could get there. How long does it take you to get to a place where you can sort of really be present to tell yourself that?
I'm
as you're
53.
going through? Okay, I'm 54. So yeah.
How long does it take? How long do you want it to take, Jamie?
Yeah. Well, I'd like it to happen quickly.
Yeah, well, it could. It could
Okay.
be today.
Set your mind to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, today could be the day that every time something hard happens, you're going to think, oh, fuck. Sorry, can we say
It's
that
okay.
on
Yeah,
here?
it's good. I mean,
Oh,
we're
crap.
liberal.
You're going to think, oh, but then you have a moment to pause and cultivate that pause and cultivate that breath. And you say, no, what a pleasure. Because really, I mean, we are resourceful people. All people are, but we are uniquely resourceful in our intelligence, in our actual physical resources, in our in our positive mindset, in the nutritious food we get to eat, and the way we can move our bodies, and the place that we live in this country, in this world. What a pleasure.
Yeah.
My son was in the ICU New Year's Day, Lurie Children's. He has sickle cell disease, and it's the first time he's ever been in the ICU with a pain crisis. He's on a full face mask, oxygen, and we are hours away from having to intubate him. I mean,
As we speak?
this was just last week.
Oh my God, I'm so
Okay.
to hear that.
And I was in Aspen with 3 other kids, lucky me, on a ski trip. And I flew home because all of a sudden he's in the ICU. And I woke up on December 31st after, well, not really waking up. I mean, I was awake all night with him in the ICU. And that's how I ended 2025.
Oh my gosh.
And I sat there in that room watching him struggle and seeing what we were dealing with and worried about all the things, but really just deeply meditating and what a gift it was to be who I am in that moment. Mm-hmm. And all you got to do is look around and you will see people who are struggling more than you are. And I mean, what a pleasure.
I know.
How much gratitude can we have for every moment that we have? And in that moment, I was grateful that I wasn't the parent of the infant in the room next door, right?
Yeah.
I wasn't the parent who actually was deaf and needing an interpreter for every interaction with every healthcare professional in the hospital, feeling probably quite lost and feeling like they might be missing a lot of things, right? There's always an opportunity to look at your life as the glass is full.
Definitely. But you do give yourself time, or do you feel it's okay to be upset?
Oh, yeah.
I'm not saying not to be upset.
I mean, on Tuesday, I could hardly get off my couch.
Right.
I was so exhausted from the week that I had.
Right.
I gave myself that grace too.
Right. But don't stay in that.
I had a peanut butter cookie for lunch.
Okay.
Because I just couldn't make a salad. I was too tired. It was a very healthy peanut butter cookie, by the way.
I'm
But,
sure.
But I mean, yeah, it's a both and. So I think that's another piece that people can realize. It can be both. I can be both, like sad and struggling and optimistic.
But that's a choice you make.
It is a choice I make.
Choice you make.
Yeah.
You know, it's not easy to make that choice.
It isn't, honestly.
Some people are much more emotional about certain situation and have a very tough time to look at the good side of the bad side.
Yeah.
I mean, I did a lot of traveling, and during my traveling, I went to the third world countries, and I've seen the struggle of people.
Yeah.
And I said, wow, I'm blessed. I shouldn't be complaining because my steak is cold. Or I should be complaining because there's not enough ice in my water compared to what I've seen around. So I understand what you're talking about. And that's what I choose to wake up in the morning and say, and Jamie and I talked in the past, you have the choice. One, you could make a good day or bad day based on your behavior and your mood.
Yeah.
And you seem like when you wake up in the morning and you choose to be in a good mood and face a great day. And with that attitude, I think there is millions of possibilities.
Yeah. Yes, I love that too. I read somewhere that, if you wake up and you go out into the world and you sort of look at everything like you missed the green light, and then, you got in a long line at Starbucks and sort of like the world is against you, or if you look at it more positively in the idea that, I made this green light.
Yeah, my car is running.
Right,
I
or I
have
get
money
to stop
for
at this-
Starbucks.
Exactly, right.
Coffee is good after the line.
But the world is sort of there, and it's all, it's all working for me versus against me, and I think that can help you.
Yeah.
Do you think that a lot of this too is about resilience and being able to sort of bounce back? Is that taught, or is it something that you have? That can be sort of cultivated. I mean, what's your view on
Genetic?
that?
Is that genetic?
Yeah.
I don't know the answer.
Yeah.
I'm not a geneticist, but I do, as a parent,
Yes.
I do believe that we can teach resilience. I have 4 children, and I do believe that resilience can be taught.
Yeah.
I think it can be modeled. And so I feel like one of my most important jobs as a parent is to model for them that optimism, that resilience in life, that belief that we can choose joy in any moment. In any moment, you could find some joy. And it is truly yours to choose.
Yeah.
And really only yours. Like, I can't choose it for them either. It's their journey, right? As a parent, you also realize,
You could guide them to the journey.
I can guide them to it. I can point it out. I could say, that's interesting. I see something else over there we might want to focus on. But ultimately, they get to choose whether they want to focus on that or not.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Humor and levity is also an important aspect of all of that. I know my parents right now, every day there's a new something going on with their health and what's going on. And just to have just bring some levity to the conversation. Yeah.
It's good to laugh at ourselves.
Yeah.
I mean, really, I think it's good
Yeah,
to,
you can't take yourself.
you got to laugh. I mean, really, none of us are really that important.
No.
Right.
We're not really doing, I mean, there's a lot of people on this planet who are interesting and smart and attractive. And, that can be tricky, I think, in this hometown that we live in, right?
Yes.
To remind ourselves that, everybody thinks they're so important and they're so special. And honestly, I don't know that we really are.
Right.
I think we all are just trying to do our best in any given moment.
Mm-hmm. And that not everyone's thinking about us all the time.
No, actually, no one's really thinking about you. Right. No one really cares.
Nobody cares.
I do try to tell my kids that, actually no one really cares what you look like, what you do. No one's paying attention.
Yeah. So how has this, so we talked a little bit about your background, which is just fascinating. And you like you said, with your podcast, you're very transparent, very open. How has that helped you? What has this journey been like for you?
Well, I think if you want, we talk a lot about, I talk about accountability, and a lot of people want to have accountability coaches. That's a great thing to kind of, that's why we hire a trainer at the gym or a nutritionist. If you want a great accountability coach, start a podcast and say what you want and who you are and put it out there. And then you have to listen to yourself. It's been the best accountability coach for me, particularly on the mindset stuff, because I've said a lot about the choice that we can make. Well, I hear myself say it and I realize, oh, shit, now I got to do it, right?
Right.
That's probably been one of the most impactful pieces of the podcast for me, but I've also met a lot of really interesting people. It has forced me to think a lot deeper about things that I maybe didn't want to or wasn't going to think as deeply about. It's forced me to articulate kind of my intentions for life, and it's allowed me to think about the legacy I want to leave. We're putting this out there. I put my story out there. In sort of a legacy kind of way.
Yeah. A lot of the young people today, including my kids, they say to me a lot, it's not that deep. It's a saying right now that's out there. I don't know if your kids say this a lot. It's not that deep, Mom. Just, don't overthink things. Yeah. And so is that it stands in sort of stark contrast to what you're talking about. And I think that both is possible. Yeah. Well, what's your take on that a little bit? Do we sometimes think we're overthinking things?
Well, I think most of us overthink.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's a common sort of symptom of an anxious world, right? Our thinking is only as helpful and useful as it leads to action.
Love
right. So I'm a big believer in you got to keep putting one foot in front of the other. Think all you want, analyze it all you want, but just keep moving. You got to move through.
I have a different outlook of that. When I was younger, I used to have some problems, and I used to worry about 2-3 weeks before I had to face the problem. And my father used to come up to me and say, "What's wrong with you?" I said, in about 3 weeks, I got symptoms. And he said, "But why worry now? Just enjoy your life. Just go with the flow, and then when you have the problem in front of you, that's when you face it and you deal with it. Why worry 6 months before, 3 months before, 2 weeks before?" So to me, I'm always a great believer that we all have problems in life. Life is not easy. Okay, it's how you handle your problem and the time you handle your problem. Worry 3 weeks before the problem is not going to do any good. That's not going to solve the problem. When the problem is there, that's when you deal. There is always solution to problems. Is the way you make the choices.
Worrying is actually a way to delay action. And so people think that if I worry enough, I'm going to make a better choice. But actually getting caught in that overthinking, worrying, anxious trap will keep us from moving forward, right? Because we're going to scrutinize and try to come up with the most perfect way to move forward. Really, I've often said to my kids, hey, let's just take our worries with us to school today. Put them in your backpack. Come on, put them in your backpack. Let's go. We got to get to school. Take them along. Everyone there is also worried about something. And yet we're all going to be at school together.
And do the same thing.
Yeah. And so I actually imagine that. I might be worried. I have a couple of things I'm worried about today. They're in my back pocket, but I'm still here. Still moving through. We're still going to get there. And I believe fundamentally that the universe has my back. right? Universe, God, spirit, whatever you want to call it. And there's a plan, and we'll get through it, but I'm just going to take it with me. I'm not going to let it stop me from doing the thing I need to do today.
Yeah. I really love that thinking and your whole idea of just the one step in front of the other. And I tell my daughters too, that idea that just do one thing at a time.
One thing.
Let's not, they'll call me about a bunch of things. It's like, let's just take that one thing at a time. And it does help.
Just one step.
Right.
Yeah. Go get a snack, get a glass of water.
Right.
Yeah.
It's when I was talking to my son during our vacation, and I was trying to make him understand, and it's time for him to grow up. And he said, what do I need to do to grow up? Mm-hmm. And I said, the thing you need to do is to listen. Mm-hmm. You need to listen. Yeah. If you don't want to grow up, don't listen. Just keep doing what you're doing. But if you listen and you apply the lesson, then you'll understand, then you'll grow up. I think to me, it's all about listening and applying. Mm-hmm. It's the way I look at.
Yeah. The other thing, Sarah, you talk about, which I love, is this idea of slowing down and pausing, and but you recognize something that I have felt like you share really resonates with me, right? Is that what does that say about me if I slow down, or if this was my biggest fear, because I used to work full time and was just on that train. If I slow down, what does that say about me? Will I ever be able to get back on the train or at that speed that I was before? And talk a little bit about that idea of taking a pause and how that can help to reset. Yeah.
The pause can help in so many different ways. It can be that moment where you recognize the worry and the angst and how it's limiting you, and you pause and you take a deep breath and you reset and think, oh, what a pleasure. That's a pause. That's a rest, right? Just getting air into our bellies, right?
Right.
And getting all that carbon dioxide out of our bodies.
Right.
That exhale. That's a pause. That's a form of rest. I mean, then I think there's this other concept, like, if I stop, I'll never start. Yeah. If I stop, I'll lose traction. If I stop, I mean, people will get ahead of me, right? I won't. And I think that's sort of there's a generational component to that. I mean, I was raised in a very, very like German Catholic Midwestern, like you are what you produce, you are what you do. And this is how we prove our worth, by achieving and constantly striving. And the more you suffer, the more value your life has, and all these things, right? But without rest, I think we lose our focus, we lose our intention, we lose our effectiveness, and our health will struggle. I mean, our health will suffer, right?
Yeah.
And I think redefining the value of rest, even if it's just, I'm going to get a good sleep tonight.
Yeah.
I'm going to create some time for myself.
Right. I love that. And rest too, I think of as maybe just shifting perspective. I have a friend that I was talking to over break, and she is she has a career in insurance. And I think she's always been interested in decorate, like a home decor. And taking a class and doing that. And she just was sort of wondering, do I do this because it's not really furthering my career, but it's sort of an area? And I suggested to her that could be this, and I don't know if you see this, but it could be sort of the shift or the rest for your brain to focus on something else that could either help fuel you in your career, because it'll give you this time and energy in something else that might really make you excited about it. Or she could decide that might be an area she wants to pursue.
I'm wondering if it's her brain sort of saying, her right brain saying, I'd like a little bit of a break, and her left brain saying, hey, I haven't been used to my potential. It's sort of a creative outlet that she's looking for.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
it can also be a both and.
Yeah.
I'm a big believer in, there's so few actual either ors in life.
Yeah.
I mean, we want things to be simpler, and so we seek the black or the white.
Right.
But really, life is all ambiguity. It's all these shades of gray. And getting comfortable in the both and is such an important life skill. and being really comfortable in the not knowing and the ambiguity and the uncertainty. One of the things I really coach my clients and talk a lot about in the podcast is, we don't know shit, actually. Everything's uncertain. If you really step back, you don't know anything. And everything is uncertain. And yet we spend so much of our lives trying to figure it all out and thinking that we can.
Yeah.
Right?
That is so great. In the corporate world, especially, there's a lot of talk with during our annual reviews with our staff and team about the younger people and helping them get more comfortable with ambiguity. Because in the working world, they just want to know, I move here, I spend 1 year here, I do this, and I move to this and this, and it just doesn't happen that way. And so that really is something that could help you in every aspect of your life, ambiguity.
Yeah.
But it's hard because it's uncomfortable.
Well, our brains crave certainty.
Right.
Right. And yet it's our job our bodies know that certainty is really it's not promised. And it's sort of staying in that feeling and getting real comfortable with the discomfort of not knowing. When I'm in the hospital with my son, and this happens frequently because this is the disease he has, I get an opportunity to be real uncomfortable and get comfortable in discomfort. And I think people now, they get in cold water, they sit in heat, they run 100 miles.
Yeah.
We have all these extreme ways in which we're trying to train our bodies to, be comfortable in discomfort. We fast for days on end, right?
Planks.
Yeah. Sit in a plank, whatever it is. But the more comfortable you can be being uncomfortable, I'm convinced the happier you will be. Because if you really step back, life is just a series of kind of if you want to grow, it's kind of uncomfortable,
situation. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not straight up the mountain. You got to peak and valleys, and you got to choose and make change, adapt, reinvent, and modify. That's what life is about.
Even being in relationship with people,
It's difficult.
It's difficult, right? They're going to push your buttons. They're going to trigger you.
Exactly.
My mom
They're going to piss
always,
you off.
Yeah.
My mom always says that change is the only constant. I mean,
True.
Change is the
it's a
spice of
phrase.
life.
Right.
Change is the spice of life.
But it happens. And you say a lot, if nothing changes, nothing changes. I love that. Yeah. And so you have to be sort of pushing that. How do we practice being uncomfortable? Or being okay with being uncomfortable?
Well, you can do all the things. So go be cold, let yourself be hot. Don't turn the AC up, right? Be hungry, right? Thirsty. Let yourself be thirsty for a while. Let yourself be hungry, right? Have some uncomfortable conversations. Find someone you disagree with and stay in the conversation a little too long, right? I mean, imagine that.
Let's start a conversation.
Imagine that, right?
That's every conversation with Pascal.
We get a lot of conversation.
I'm serious though. Like all the ways in which our modern life has allowed us to, to avoid discomfort. Get in a cold bath. Go jump in Lake Michigan. I don't know what it is, but you could eat. We literally probably spend the most amount of time trying to avoid discomfort.
Yeah. We do, or boredness, or all
lift
the things.
something that was a little too heavy, right? Sweat a little too much, get a little out of breath. Just anything you can do to just put yourself in a situation that feels uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Is going to benefit you.
Yeah. It's funny.
As a parent, I think this is a critical lesson we need to teach our kids because we're sort of in this comfort crisis. There's a book by that name, right? Worth reading. But as parents, you see this a lot where parents are trying so hard to help their kids avoid anything that's uncomfortable, right? Well,
For sure.
we're doing them a huge disservice, right? They're going to get to 30, 35, and some big stuff is going to hit them hard, and they will not know.
They will not be able to handle
They
it.
won't be able to handle it. They won't be able to handle it.
But remember one thing, we have tendency to give our children what we never had and put them into a stage of comfort. Like, I know then I've listened to one of your podcasts, you come up from a family, an upper middle class, you get out of college, you had no debt. Okay, most kids are getting out of college with tons of debt and there's a lot of pressure on them.
I actually grew up pretty middle class, working really hard from the time I was like 11 years old in very unpleasant kinds of jobs. It was part of our family's kind of ethos. But I had other forms of comfort. Yeah. But I also handled cancer alone. I knew discomfort. Yeah. In different ways. I think there's all kinds of ways to achieve what we're talking about here. And in the modern world, sometimes you have to get real creative. But letting our kids fall and fail and suffer is a real gift to them.
Yeah.
But we have a very
hard.
difficult time to do that because when you went through that yourself, you don't want them to experience what you've experienced in your past. My childhood has been very tough. You know, we come from a large family, no money. Money was always an issue. Food was an issue, living on subsidized houses. And so I grew up in an environment where I don't want my son to experience that. I don't want my children to experience that. So I went overboard.
You overcompensate.
Overcompensated, and actually I realized that I didn't do them a justice. Because they have a car at 16 years old. They have a debit card at 16 years old. They were dressed in designer clothes at 12, 13 years old. And I did that because I was maybe resentful for where I come from, and I didn't want them to suffer like I suffer. But I realized that I didn't do them justice. I should have taken a loan, a college loan for them, and have a responsibility to pay that loan. I think it would have been better for them than a free ride. You know, I mean.
Well, it's tough to look back and judge. I mean,
Yeah.
we can only do what we can do today, right?
Yeah.
And I think, like we said, every day is this opportunity to start again, and as how we parent, how we take care of ourselves, how we participate in the world. I mean, there's so much good learning in life, right? To take forward, and you did that out of the goodness of your heart and with the best of intentions,
Best
right?
intention,
And
yes.
today you'll do what you do out of the best of intentions. You know?
Today I make him pay for the HOA, I make him pay for his real estate taxes, I make him pay for his
job.
car payments. And I said, look, now you got a job, you got to assume responsibilities.
Yeah.
And I think he's doing it, and I'm very proud of him. Then he started being a little bit more responsible, and I'm guiding him in the right way, and I'm very happy the way things are coming up.
Yeah, I don't think there is an exact right way to parent and to show your kids the value of the hard work and things like that. I think, and if you're adjusting yourself, I think that's right. I feel in a big way, and you talked about this before, is the modeling. And my mom always talks about modeling and just being, showing your kids. It's your actions a lot more than your words. I mean, we could say all these things all day long, right? But to do them and to act them out, I think it showed. I'm was a working mom, and while I go through and still have guilt and regret and all these crazy emotions, I know that I showed my girls that I was going to work every day, and I had a purpose, and I, did love my job, and I think that it showed them, and I worked very hard, as I do now on this podcast with
Yes,
you.
I know.
And as you know, Sarah, this does not just come together.
No,
I mean,
it doesn't.
people think, everyone's
There's
like,
a lot
oh, I
of
want to
work,
start a
lot of work.
podcast. I'm like, well, get ready,
Yeah.
And I certainly think everyone should, like you said, start one if you
not?
want to. And you don't really realize, how much you learn from it. I think that we are loving this
I'm
because
loving
we're
it,
on the couch. Well, you're literally on the couch, but
I am on the couch.
we're on the couch every week listening to and talking with experts and have these wonderful conversations with people like you and just learning a lot. And speaking of that, you talk a lot on yours podcast about this sort of self-actualization. Can we talk a little bit about that and sort of how that and maybe your personal journey with that, and what are you making those changes in your own life and knowing what changes or letting yourself make those changes as you learn more about yourself? Because I think people that watch and listen to us, our viewers and listeners, would be interested in that, and as they maybe are confronting the same thing.
I think I was born a seeker, right? And I'm even from a young age, I was always striving to kind of understand myself and my place in the world. So that kind of open-mindedness has always been part of who I am. And this expansiveness that I think about how I could be in the world, what I could do, who I might love, how I might parent, where I might live. All these things have always been very open and expansive in my understanding of myself. And I'm really grateful for that, because life has definitely showed me lots of different ways to do and be and love and work and live and even parent, right? And so that ability to embrace what sort of comes to me and who shows up in my life, I'm really grateful for. My upbringing might not suggest that I would be that kind of person growing up in this like tiny little mill town in northeast Wisconsin where everyone's sort of the same. I grew up in that context, right? And you know, I didn't really fit in, and I'm grateful that I didn't.
And so
let
you
me go a little bit deeper and a little bit back further into your life, because I think that sometimes I was listening and what you said. So you were married, okay, and you were married to a woman. Am I right?
Yes.
And you had I believe, a 16 years marriage, and you adopted 3 children. Am I right? Did you had any sexual experience before with a man, before you get involved with a woman, and why did you end up being with a woman? I'm curious.
Yeah. I was together with my ex-wife for 18 years. We weren't married that whole time because we couldn't get married, right? We met each other in the mid 90s. I had dated boys and men before.
boys to men.
Before
men, yeah.
before falling in love with her, and it truly was a soul connection. And I talk about it in the podcast.
What triggered you to go from a man to a woman? What do you think that's part of your DNA? Do you think that's part of who you are? How this has happened?
And it's a little opposite from what, like, Glennon Doyle is someone who I love. She wrote a great book, Untamed. But her experience was the opposite. She had married a man, had some children, and then sort of became or fell in love with a woman.
I don't know how it happened, honestly. I mean, I do identify as bisexual, and so I'm very much attracted to men and women. Okay. At the time, I fell in love with my best friend. Literally, we were working together and developed just a beautiful friendship. She continues to be one of my very best friends, even though we are no longer partnered in that way. It was just a soul connection. And I don't know really how to explain it. And I was attracted to men. And I still am, actually. I'm attracted to both men and women. I really just appreciate the human form in all of its many beautiful manifestations.
So do you think we could be monogamous with a woman or a man? Do you think then we should have multi-partners?
I actually think, this is a bigger conversation, but I actually think monogamy sets us up for failure.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I think, I think
Of course you would agree.
I think some of us.
I just think then and I listen to again, refer to what you said, then we live longer, and then the cachet of my mother said, I've been married with my father for 16 years. It's passé.
I think if that can happen, it's amazing, right?
It's very rare.
I think my parents were together for 47 years. I don't know how incredibly happy they were those 47 years, but I have an aunt and uncle that were together like almost 75, and they were very happy. But I've been married twice. I've been divorced twice. I'm very good at partnership. I've 18 and 10 years.
Yeah.
So but I also have changed a lot in my life, and I've changed. So much has changed in the world, and I want to be able to embrace that change also.
Did your partner change with you? Or do you think what led you to end that 16 years relationship?
Yeah.
Because you didn't grow together, because you were tired and you wanted something new,
Or choosing joy.
There's a long answer to that, and I think there were many factors that contributed to the end of our relationship the way it was, and the transition to something different. And some of that was just the stress of parenting very complex children, and I did change quite a bit, and what I wanted in life was different. We weren't growing at the same pace together. We had some unreconcilable differences, It wasn't just one thing.
Yeah.
Okay, and other time I know that you adopted 3 children.
We did. We adopted 3 children together.
Let me. This is something where I've been asked a lot of questions about that. Is children being raised by we're not calling it lesbian, but
you can say a lesbian couple or a gay couple.
A gay couple. okay, a lesbian couple, a gay couple, is not confusing for the children to be able to have two mom or two dad? Or, I mean,
You need more diversity in your life.
I've been, I mean, if I tell you where I've been and what I've done,
Yeah,
it'll blow your mind. I mean, I'm very liberal, but I've never experienced that, to have a two women or two men raising a boy and a girls. What is how do they grow up knowing that they have two mothers, two fathers? How do they view life? Are they have more tendency to follow the parents' rule and say, hey, you know, I'm a man, I'm going to go with a man. I'm a woman, I'm going to go with a man. I know that you fought very hard for the QLGBT, and then at the time that wasn't accepted, now it is. But don't you think that we went a little too far by promoting them in a young age?
No. I'm not promoting. I'm not saying you promoting. I'm just saying I don't think we're promoting any. I mean, what's wrong with a man loving a man or a woman loving a woman?
There's nothing wrong with that.
I have seen the most beautiful families formed in the most untraditional of circumstances, and children who know they are so deeply loved. When my son came out of anesthesia after having to have a port put in his body in order to do a red blood cell exchange, the first thing he said is, Mama, Mommy, Mama, Mommy. He's 20 years old. Mm-hmm. He is so deeply loved and knows he's so deeply loved, and he knows who he is in the world. Mm-hmm. And he's not confused about his own sense of sexuality or what love is or what a family is. But what he does know is that love is what makes a family.
Yeah, love is love.
And he has seen love form his family, this intentional way of being together. I get a little emotional. I get a little, because the choice to adopt children, or for gay and lesbian couples to have children, it has to be so intentional. It does not happen by accident. There is no gay family out there that happened by accident. It was their choice to come together, to be who they are, and then to seek out those lives that they are going to support and bring into their families. I mean, we could talk for hours just about adoption, and how hard it is.
Right.
I mean, how excruciatingly painful it is to put yourself in a position of wanting to adopt.
Exactly.
The heartbreak that it's part of that journey. I think we should be lifting up our families that choose to care for one another in such deeply, deeply intimate ways.
Yeah. No,
but when you go in school, I understand what you said, but when you go in school and you get those 6-7 years old kids who are bullied, the little kids.
My kids have never been bullied because they have two moms.
Yeah, but some of them have. Some of them
maybe have, but you know what? If they're not going to be bullied for that, they'll be bullied because they're fat, or they'll be bullied because they're wearing the wrong pants, or they'll be bullied because, kids get bullied. Very few, our LGBT families are some of the healthiest families I believe we have in this country because of the intentionality with which they live their lives.
Yes.
And because of the struggle they have every day to live that life.
Yeah.
It's not easy, and it makes us stronger.
Yeah.
Makes us more determined. It makes our love deeper, and our love, I think, almost healthier in many ways. When my son was in kindergarten and first grade, his little friends were so envious that he had two moms. And they used to tell him all the time how lucky he was. What little boy isn't in love with their mother, right? Mm-hmm. And he had two. And it was the sweetest little thing of these boys just thinking, oh my God, if I could have two moms, that was a really beautiful moment for me as a parent.
Yeah, I think that that our society has certainly become more open and better for that openness to different ways. But in the end, love is love, no matter who the love is. Yeah, I think your story is very, very inspirational and very interesting, and I love that you share so much about yourself. And as we said, I think. Or as we had talked before this, that, there's something about just getting underneath it, not overthinking, but getting underneath and really figuring out who you are and why you're on this planet and what we are all doing. I just love it. What do you say, as we sort of get closer to wrapping this up, but this whole theme of reset, what do you say to people who may be stuck right now? whether they're stuck there in a marriage they don't know if they're in for the right reasons, or they're stuck in, a job change or just whatever. What do you say can help them from a mindset perspective and just take action?
Yeah. Well, first thing I would suggest is that they really get into that feeling of stuckness and figure out where it lives in their body.
Yeah.
Right.
What do you mean by that?
Being stuck isn't necessarily a mental problem.
Okay.
I think it's a physical. There's a physical manifestation of it. And if we can get into the feeling of I'm stuck, it might help us know what we need to do.
Okay.
Right. I know that when I feel a lot of things in my gut.
Yeah.
Right. And my gut's kind of my barometer. Right. And when I sit with,
I'm bloated a lot. So does that mean I feel it in my gut too?
it might,
Okay.
I mean, it might, but like being able to tap into that, what does stuck feel like? Right. And be able to sit with it. We have to be able to tolerate that feeling, that discomfort before we might know which way to go. We might have to determine the source of it. And be able to sit with it. We got to cultivate that pause. We have to rest in the feeling of being stuck. And then we might have a better sense of what direction to go in.
Yeah.
Right? Take a deep breath. And then maybe it's just the simple act of saying to a close person in your life, I feel so stuck. I don't know what to do.
Right. Sometimes just verbalizing.
Yeah.
So to go
help.
back to,
Yeah.
so you get divorce, obviously, from your partners with the 3 kids, and then you end up being married to a man now. Why the man?
Have you, by the way, listened to our podcast? This is very, very typical.
I love it. No, I have.
I
listened.
mean,
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
our audience would
Yeah.
be very interesting to know why did you go from a 17, 18 years relationship with a woman, which you raised 2 and 4 children, to decided to move on to a man? What was the change? What was the trigger?
Yeah. I met someone that I fell in love with. Yeah, that's really the why. I dated men and women after our divorce, and I met a man that I fell in love with. We're actually divorced now. I'm divorced twice.
Welcome to the club.
And I'm dating another man.
Okay.
And I'm still attracted to women.
Did the second husband knew your history and was okay with
yeah,
it?
he knew everything.
Was he?
Yeah. I kind of identify myself as I'm really romantically straight and sexually bi.
Okay.
If
So
that helps clarify things a little more.
What happened? There is a lot of ways of having a sexual relationship. There is the bisexual, which is there is the swinging couple where they like to have a different partners. So you're open for everything. Am I right?
Swing? How do you get to swinging?
How do we get? Yeah.
The swinging. You have never heard about swinging?
Yeah.
No, I
know what
have,
swinging
but I
is.
don't know how you get to swinging from.
No, but mean if you like women and men, and you don't mean there is people who like women and men who like to share their partner.
Yeah, no judgment on any of that.
No judgment on any of that.
Yeah, I mean, I have no judgment. I think if there's trust,
boy girls,
if there's trust and
yes.
consent and good communication, I think people should, we should all be exploring the things we want to explore, as long as we're being safe and thoughtful. And I have no judgment. I'm a person who is just very, very open-minded.
So let's say then your previous husband said, I wouldn't mind bringing another woman into our relationship. How do you feel about that?
Well, he never would have said that.
But let's say
how do I feel about it personally, like for me or just for people in general?
For people in general.
I think if that's something a couple wants, then they should explore that together.
And for you, would it work?
Would it work for me?
Yeah.
Yeah, it could work for me.
Okay.
Yeah. It depends. It depends on the partner, and it depends on the woman and the circumstance, the level of trust and communication, what we're looking for, what our intentions are with that, I think what I know of the non-monogamous lifestyle is to do it well requires such a deep level of trust and such an incredibly thoughtful level of communication. I think that's very attractive.
So if you think, you'd said before that you didn't see monogamy as setting us up for success, would you get married again, do you think?
Sure.
Oh, okay. So even though you know that it's not necessarily setting us up for success, because you're a romantic.
I'm incredibly romantic, and I thrive in relationships.
Yes.
I thrive in committed relationships. I know that's sort of my That's my sort of expression of where how I learned the most important things I've learned in life have been in these committed relationships. I mean, I can't even believe how much I learned in my first marriage. And then my second marriage, I mean, in the experience of divorce was profound. I mean, every day I woke up and I thought, oh my God, what am I going to learn today?
Right.
This is hard.
I love that.
What can I learn today?
Do you think the power of mindset, our podcast is really all about this golden era or going in our golden era. And we've sort of said that's around 50-ish. Yeah. But sometimes we say 40 even. So, but what do you think of the power of mindset? Is it different for people over 50 than it is under? Like in terms of how you can use it? And
I think it can be powerful at any age, but I do think we have a unique opportunity when we kind of cross that 50, when we stop, many of us, stop caring so much about what people think. What I think starts to matter. What's in my brain starts to matter.
Yeah.
And that is an opportunity to really shift the mindset, because we can start to look at the way we're thinking more critically, right? Because if what other people what other people think doesn't matter at all, well, then it really matters what I'm thinking and what I'm saying to myself and the way I'm talking to myself. Yeah. It becomes much more into focus, and we have an opportunity to feel much more free, right?
So,
I mean,
so
it can be so freeing.
Right.
I mean, if you really don't give a fuck what anybody else thinks about you, holy cow, the whole world becomes open, right?
Right. And that is why after 50, there is so much of this talk about reinvention and pivoting and changing, because we do get to a place, but I think we live longer, but we're getting to a place, like for me, and I'm going to reveal something very personal. I wish
because
that
I just feel like I'm going to, come on, Jamie.
You get her. Come on, Jamie.
I wish that I felt sexually the way I do now. I wish I felt when I was in my 20s and 30s. Like I am loving sex so much now because I don't care. It is.
This is another
talked
one.
about it.
We should.
I just, and yes, I have a wonderful partner and my husband who loves me, but it's really just more that it's me. It's not, it's me and how I am. And I'm just seeking my own, like seeking the pleasure and doing it.
You are probably more embodied. You're probably more embodied. You live more in your body than you ever have before. And that being in our bodies and not just in our heads. Your 20s are a decade of being in your head, trying to figure all kinds of things out. But as we get older, we have an opportunity to sink deeper into our physical selves. Yeah. And that is where pleasure is. Pleasure isn't here. Yeah. It's here.
No, it's so great.
Do you think then there is a certain person who really, certain chemistry, certain people bring to you, you really want them? You know, I mean, I know I've encountered in my lifetime where I've met some women I'm extremely physically, emotionally attracted to. And there is some women who are beautiful who have no chemistries. And that's the very difficult part to find, the person who has that strong chemistry. Yeah. It doesn't have to be beauty, it's a chemistry.
But I think what Sarah and I are saying is it's about us. Like for me, it could be any partner, not again, that my husband's not the most amazing person, but it's about me. Yeah. And so I just wish I could, I mean, look, you can't go backward, but I wish I could take this and just go back into all my partners.
But what I would say to you is you can, but go forward. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because I'm loving it, so it's good.
Yeah. We can't live in the past. Yeah. We can't undo what was done. We can, but you probably are appreciating now more because of what happened then. So be grateful for the then and live in the now. Yeah. I mean, I think you're an incredibly sexy person. Yeah. Like really, your energy, the way you carry yourself, the confidence you have, I mean, physically, I mean, there's something about being in our bodies, right?
Yeah.
And loving our lives.
Yeah. At 50, like I don't feel 50, but I know I'm 50 and I feel good.
I've never felt healthier, more vibrant, sexier, more fit
the same way
than I've ever been.
You should start dating some 50-year-olds who are more into themselves and know who we are.
And you know, I think for me it's very difficult because I'm extremely picky, and then women are afraid of me.
Okay.
They think I'm
Why?
a player. They think I'm like
Yeah,
the
I wonder
kind of
why.
playboy kind of
I
guy.
wonder why
you
they
know,
think
and
that.
I'm really a relationship kind of guy.
Yeah.
I like relationship. I like long-term relationship.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. You have a really big heart.
Oh,
Yeah.
he does.
Yeah.
You do. And you care deeply.
Yes.
You really care. I see it in the salon when I go in.
She's a client of our salon.
I see the way you care for your people.
I care for my people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you spend a lot of time up here.
Yeah.
Yeah. More time here.
I will be here with the right person.
Yeah.
I haven't found the right person
Yeah.
to be open to
The
open up.
more time you'll be here, the more
Yeah.
time you are here, the more of the right people will show up for you. You'll have to do that first, and then they will appear.
Yeah.
So maybe
You
teach me how to do
you
that.
have to risk it. Yeah.
I mean,
You need some
Yeah.
private lessons, Sarah.
What do you say?
Some private lessons
I get
or
a private
coaching
lesson,
sessions.
But
yeah.
I really believe that what is meant for us shows up for us, and we
Yeah.
have to be aligned.
But it's timing. It's always
It is.
timing.
It's timing.
It's timing. You know,
Yeah.
you've
But
met
don't
someone.
create too many
where-
excuses.
No. I'm not creating excuses. I mean, there is people I'm very attracted who timing wasn't right.
Right.
Yeah.
And people I'm not that attracted and timing is right. So I think to me, I don't want to settle for less than what I want. I know what I'm looking for. But, time will tell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Have
but,
fun in the meantime.
I'm fine
Yeah.
in the meantime, yeah.
This is so great. I have a quick question. Vision boards. What's your take on that?
I don't know. They take too much time.
Okay.
So I'm a big. I like to set intentions.
Okay.
I like to be real intentional with how I speak. We talked about that earlier. I think if you think a vision board is going to be helpful, then make your vision
Yes,
board.
right.
You could also just write down a bunch of bullet statements that articulate where you want to be in a year. Be real present focused in that. So imagine yourself a year from now and speak to yourself as if you are there. Right? So I actually manifested my partner on January 1st of 2025. And I wrote about who he was. And I imagined I was sitting with him on January 1st, 2026.
And where is he now?
He's actually in Milwaukee working today.
Okay.
And we're going to have dinner tonight when he comes back.
All right.
That
Yeah.
makes me think of that song, Where the Hell is My Husband?
Yes.
Where the hell is my
Where the hell is
Where
my
the hell is my husband? Yeah.
I
But
love
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever you
Do it.
need to be real specific about the vision you're creating, whether it's a board or statements or, I don't know, do it. Do it.
Good. Do
Don't-
it.
Don't overthink it. Just do it.
Okay.
And then live into it.
Okay.
Like live today as if it has already happened.
Okay. Love it. Live into it.
All right. So
Well,
let's leave it.
this is the perfect place to end. No, because lean in was something I was really into. I like
Sure.
live into it. That's
Well,
that's
it's the year of the
new.
horse. We have a couple more weeks before
Yes.
the Chinese New Year. It's going to be the year of the horse.
Yes.
And the year of the snake, we were supposed to be shedding all the things that don't align. I did a lot of that.
Okay.
The year of the horse is a year of action. It's a year of movement.
It's a couple
Real
of weeks from now. am I right?
intentional, intentional, strong, deliberate. Think about the way a horse moves in the world, right? That's
Okay. I'm now thinking Kevin Costner, but that's okay.
I saw him in Aspen.
Oh my God. And he's cute in
Which
person.
one?
Yeah, Kevin Costner.
Does he look?
He looks great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's rugged.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to
All right.
leave it there unless you had something else.
I
Some more deep.
I got-
Do you have any more deep questions?
I got a lot more questions, but we
Okay.
just don't have the time.
Okay.
We don't have the
All right. Well, second
Part two.
round. Part
Part
two.
two.
Part two.
Part two.
All right. Thank you,
guys are
Sarah
the
Schmidt,
best. Oh my God.
host of
Thank
Holy
you.
Schmidt. And we've had a lot of fun. All right. See you. Don't forget to subscribe and leave comments.